High School, none other than Sir Constantine M. Bautista. Good afternoon po, sir. Okay, so while waiting for Sir Constantine, okay, hopefully that everybody ayan, wala pa po ata si Sir, no. Okay, so good afternoon po, Sir Bautista.
Okay, good afternoon.
Ayan.
Hindi ko alam kung ako yung nawala o sino ba.
Internet connection po, sir, nawala. Ayan.
Okay, ako
Sige
ba
po.
yung nawala kanina? Okay, medyo hindi ko na nasubaybayan yung yung aking pagpapakilala. But anyway, Sir Jason, thank you. So, to our Chief CID, kung andito pa po, Sir Orlando Valverde, to our Senior Educational Specialist, Sir Cirilo Vista, to our beloved PSDS Mom Solomon, to Sir Roy Raya, thanks for inviting, and to all my co-speakers and all the teachers who are listening right now. So, as mentioned, I'm the third speaker for this action research webinar, and I hope I would be able to impart something regarding the context, rationale, purpose, and intervention and strategy in writing the action research. Okay, magpapakita lang po ako sandali. Okay, so ito po ako in person sa webinar. So let me just present my slides. Malinaw po ba ang aking dating?
Yes po, sir. Yes po.
Okay, for a moment. Okay, nakikita na po ba ang aking screen? Nakikita na po ba ang aking screen, sir?
Presenting na po, sir.
Okay, so idediretso ko na po I was given 1 hour and 30 minutes, and I hope I would be able to consume or finish before an hour and 30 minutes. So again, my name is Mr. Constantine M. Bautista from Cavinti Integrated National High School, and I'm a fellow educator in Royal Institute in Singapore. I'm also a certified or accredited competence TESDAL for qualification. So let me begin a simple quote from a very important philosopher, which he said that the expert in anything was once a beginner. So ito po yung nakita ko sa sarili ko when I entered Department of Education 5 years ago. 5 years pa lang po ako sa DepEd, and fortunately I was able to engage in the research. So the objectives of my topics is are number one, to document and action research, Write an introduction statement of problem, action plan, including the intervention to be used, action research methods, result and discussion, findings, conclusion, recommendations, and probably use of the APA writing and present innovation in action research. So let's have the legal basis of the action research. We have the debit order number 39, which is the basic research agenda. And here are the key thematics areas. Ang babasahin ko na lang po ay sa itong nasa baba. Teaching and learning, child protection, human resource development, governance, disaster risk reduction management, inclusive education, and gender development. So ito po ang ating napapaloob sa DepEd Order number 39 series of 2016. So in writing an introduction for the topics for the new normal, we have school readiness and preparedness, environment and programming, well-being of teachers and learners, safety operations for schools, transition, strategic risk, and crisis communication. We have communication ethics, policy, and guidelines formulation. So another topics for the new normal, we have the new curriculum models, we have teachers development, we have equality and access to digital learning and technology, impact studies of online learning, student engagement. We have hybrid learning models and infrastructure. We have physical and mental health of teachers and learners, which is very timely in this pandemic. So probably the Nibra is a little new to you, but actually this is from 2017 to 2022. This is a 5-year program of the DOST, or the Department of Science and Technology, and there's into three main categories, which are the malasakit, kaunlaran, and pagbabago. And under malasakit, we have water security, food and nutrition security, and health sufficiency. For kaunlaran, we have clean energy, sustainable communities, and for the pagbabago, we have inclusive nation building, and some of the bullets or some of the boxes are below kung ano yung pwede nating maging topic. So again, dear teachers, these are the NIBRA, or the National Integrated Basic Research Agenda of the Department of Science and Technology. And another one, which is close to similar to NIBRA, is the Harmonized National Research and Development Agenda. So this is also a 5-year program of the Department of Technology, which is almost similar to the NIBRA. So for my introduction, um, here is how you write an introduction. So I simplified the writing of the action research para maging mas madali. For those teachers who are into research, you may have a copy of my presentation. You may just directly PM me so I could give you this copy if anybody is interested. So, what to write in sequence in writing an introduction? So number one is the problem to address, example, the background and the need to address it. Diyan po tayo magsisimula. And number two is the basis. So if you can see on bold letters, we have the problem and the data. So second is the basis of interest in the problem. So what are the factors and experiences? And then number three is the data that support the problem. This is from the school, could either be from the district, from the division, regional, or the national data, or the literature. So tandaan po natin yung tatlong nouns. We have the problem, we have the basis, and we have the data. Number four is we have the gap statement. What we do not know yet about the problem and how to address some of these gaps. What we do not know from previous studies that can help us design a more effective intervention. So yung hindi pa natin nalalaman. Kasi kung meron ng sagot yung ating action research, hindi na tayo mag-action research. Ano? So, number five, we have the proposed intervention, innovation, or strategy to be used. And this includes its background, importance, literature. It could either be, it includes theory, philosophy, model, or exemplar and previous researches, expert knowledge and learnings from conferences, workshop that are support and validate the proposal of intervention and innovation strategy. And number six, we have the potential contributions implication of the study. And this is how you write the statement of the problem. So in writing an introduction, kung makikita nyo po, um, gawin nyo lang pong pattern yung 1 to 6 ko, mga gawa ng introduction. So for the statement of the problem, it describes who is affected, support causes of the problem, the objective of the improvement, and the intervention that will be initiated to improve the situation or address the issue or of the problem. So, makita niyo po yung legend ko dyan, yung kulay blue, yung affected individuals. And then, ito namang dark orange, ito yung cause or problem. And then, yung green, objective of the improvement. And yung light blue, yun po ang ating intervention. So that is how you write the statement of the problem. So, gumawa na rin po ako ng template dito para hindi na mahirapan kasi mostly sa dami ng trabaho natin ngayon, naging tayo ng mga template, ano. So, mas maganda yung ganito kasi fill in the blanks na lang. So, palagay ko naman with my template, hindi na masyado mahihirapang gumawa ng statement of the problem si teacher para gumawa ng action research. Okay. So, there is a problem in, saan ba? Problem sa sarili? Oh, joke lang po. Problem in the school? So, example, organization or a situation where problem is occurring despite, diba, efforts to prevent or determine, and then something undesirable or unexpected is occurring. So let's provide an evidence. And then this problem has negatively affected the students or victims of the problem because state natin yung ating reason. And then a possible cause of this problem is specific ano. Um, a possible cause of this problem is, and perhaps a study which investigates blank by a blank or paradigm or method could help resolve the situation. So makikita nyo, pag may template, mas madali tayo nakakagawa, di ba? Kaysa sa biglang, okay, gumawa ka ng statement of the problem. Some of the teacher may find it difficult kung hindi talaga researcher. So, fill in the blanks na lang po yung ginawa ko. Now, I have an example in here. There is a low academic performance among the grade 12 learners in physical science as a contributory factor on low MPS in science. Even the teachers are prepared and deliver the lesson well. There are still students who get very low in both formative and summative assessment. And these problems negatively affected the students because they get low grades. So a possible cause of this problem is poor study habits, perhaps this study that will assess the effectiveness of the classroom program on study skills will improve the academic performance of grade 12 learners in physical science in PORAC. National High School for the senior 2017-2018. So ayan, meron tayong isang example ng statement of the problem. Okay, specifically, it sought to answer the following question. Number one, how many grade 12 learners will be described in terms of their level of academic performance in physical science before implementing the classroom program on the study skills? And number two, how many grade 12 learners to be described in terms of their academic performance in physical science after the implementation of the classroom program on study skills? And number three, is there a significant difference in the level of academic performance of the grade 12 learners in physical science before and after the implementation of the intervention? So of course, magna-null muna tayo dito, which is there is no significant difference. So after matapos natin sa action research, tingnan natin kung tayo ay mag-alternative na. Okay, example number two, the academic plagiarism has been recurring in students. Sa students lang ba o pati sa teacher din? Maybe. So, despite the symptomology, teachers did not require their students to provide citation and reference lists each time the students submit an output. They did not integrate in their daily learning log, particularly in their lessons, the importance of crediting the work of others. This problem affected much the students' behavior since the school does not have an existing policy on academic plagiarism. Perhaps this study that introduced a continuous action plan will promote a sustained academic integrity. Okay. So, specifically, it sought to answer this question. Number one, what are the common reasons of academic plagiarism practices among the students? And to address this problem, we formulate research question about investigating a phenomenon, testing an idea, trying out solution to a problem, and creating a new procedure. So this is how we formulate an action question. So ito pong slides ko, ito na yung kumbaga pinakang guide natin para makagawa tayo ng mas madali at mas concise na step-by-step procedure in doing the action research. So, in formulating action research question pa rin po, example natin sa English, no? So, this is one title, The Effect of Teachers' Mediated Vocabulary Discussions During Read Aloud. So, this paper intend to present the results of a teacher action research study that examine this question. Okay. Ito na po yung ating statement of the problem. Number one, how is vocabulary acquisition impacted when second grade students participate in teacher mediated vocabulary discussion during reading? And another is an action research on effectiveness of differentiated instruction in teaching English for grade 4 classes. So, example po ulit, this study determined the effectiveness of conducting um, the differentiated instruction to grade 4 English class. Specifically, it answered the following. What is the performance of the two groups of respondents in the pretest? So we can use the quasi method in here. We have the control group and the experimental group. Okay, and number two, what is the performance of the two group of respondents in the post test? We have two groups in here, which was mentioned earlier, the control and the experimental. And another research question is there a significant difference in the PETA scores between the control and experimental groups? Now, on this example, I have five. but the minimum statement of the problem or research question in here could be a minimum is 3. So to continue, number 4 is there a significant difference in the posted scores between the control and experimental group? And number 5 is there a significant difference between the pre-test posted score of the control and experimental group? Okay, example naman po tayo sa science ng ating action research na ginagawa and the following research question. So, alam ko po ay iba-iba naman tayo ng subject dito kaya nagbigay po ako ng different examples na ating magawa. So, this is a strategic intervention material based instruction, the SIM, learning approach, and students' performance in chemistry. So, example statement of the problem is what is the profile of the students in chemistry before and after exposure to a strategic intervention material based instruction curriculum. And number 2 is what is the performance in chemistry achievement test of deep and cut surface learners before and after exposure to the strategic intervention material based instruction. So maybe some of you are already familiar with the SIM or the strategic intervention material instruction. And in mathematics naman, ito po yung example natin. We enhancing the performance of grade 6 pupils of Buyagan Elementary School through the use of arts in math. Okay. So specifically, the action research sought to answer the following question. So this is arts in mathematics, yung pong ating abbreviation na AIM. So how is the mastery level of grade 6 in mathematics? Enhanced using arts in mathematics. Nako, for this time, ang ating pong math ay napaka laking problema sa modular. Kasi walang teacher, paano po ito sasagutan kung ikaw ay naka-modular? Okay? And number 2, how are the comprehension skills of grade 6 mathematics concept improved through the use of arts in mathematics? Okay, dumako naman po tayo sa example ng social studies. So, activity-based teaching in social studies education and action research. So, the study sought to answer the research questions below. At what level to do the pre-service social studies teacher skills or planning and implementation of activity-based teaching change before and after the action? What are the difficulties encountered by the pre-service social studies teacher during the planning and implementation of activity-based teaching process? So ito po yung example natin sa social studies. Okay, meron din po tayo sa Filipino. Mga salik sa mababang performance, dalawang markahan ng mga mag-aaral sa 11 Cypress sa asignaturang Pilipino. And one of the saglit lang po at okay. So, pasensya na po at medyo hindi alam ng lahat na ako'y nasa webinar ngayon. Okay, so continue po tayo in formulating Filipino action research. We also have this digitized lesson plan sa Filipino tugon sa tawag ng pangangailangan ng 21 siglong kasanayan, pagsipat sa epekto nito sa pedagohiya ng mga guro at pagkatuto ng mga mag-aaral. So, ang pangkalahatang suliranin at layunin. Paano makakatugon ang digitized lesson sa Pilipino sa tawag ng pangangailangan ng 21 siglong kasanayan at ang epekto nito sa pedagohiya ng mga guro at pagtuturo ng mag-aaral? So, marami tayo ngayong na-develop na digitized lesson, ano. Even me, my one of my research is also an e-learning module in dressmaking. And ito po yung mga tiyak na suliranin. Ano ang epekto ng paggamit ng mga digitized lessons sa Pilipino sa pedagohiya ng mga guro at pagkatuto ng mga mag-aaral? Ano-ano ang mga nalilinang sa mga guro at mag-aaral ng ika-21 na siglo? Okay, hindi po ako masyadong magaling sa Tagalog mag-pronounce, ano. So in writing hypothesis, dalawa naman po ang ating famous na hypothesis na alam, ano. We have the null and the alternative. At syempre 'pag sinabi po nating null hypothesis ay obvious pong makikita natin na there is no significant difference, and if it becomes an alternative, there is a significant difference. So yun lang po ang paggawa ng ating hypothesis. So in English, how to write the hypothesis in English. This is another example ulit para magkaroon tayo ng idea. Maglaro sa inyong isip kung paano tayo nag-formulate ng hypothesis or kung paano tayo nag-formulate ng mga titles in the action research. So, an action research on effectiveness of differentiated instruction in English in teaching English for grade 4 classes. So, this is study determines the effectiveness of conducting differentiated instruction to grade 4 English class, and specifically it answered the following. What is the performance of the two of respondents in the pretest? And here we have the control and the experimental group. What are the performance of the two groups of respondents in the post-test? Again, we have the control and the experimental group in here. And is there a significant difference in the pretest scores between the control and the experimental group? And is there a significant difference in the post-test score between the control and experimental group? And lastly, is there a significant difference between the pretest and post-test scores of the control and the experimental group? So hypothesis writing pa rin po tayo. There is no significant difference in the pretest score between the control and experimental group. Another null hypothesis, there is no significant difference in the post-test scores between the control and experimental group. And another null hypothesis, there is no significant difference between the pretest and post-test scores of the control and experimental group. Okay. And in formulating an assumption, here is the procedure. Issue or fact that enables the researcher to have fundamental principles to carry out our given research. And issue or fact in the study which is accepted true by the researcher. And issue or fact that affects relationship among existing issues or facts, or issue or fact that influence inferences drawn from the study. And for example, the topic is association of levels of gender, age, and math anxiety. Okay, marami po talaga namang problema sa math, including me. Yan po ay isa sa aking weakness. So, ang assumption po natin dito, the gender and age will vary in terms of math anxiety. Ibig sabihin kaya, pag medyo mas mataas ang edad, or kung ikaw ay lalaki, or kung ikaw ay babae, ay nagva-vary ang mathematical anxiety natin? Okay, for the proposed innovation, intervention and strategy, um, magbibigay din po ako dito ng mga examples kung paano siya ginagawa. Okay, sample intervention. We have the proposed intervention now. This is in connection to the previous slide that I was able to present regarding the MPS. So to address the identified problem in low mean personage score, result in physical science, and to further help student participants of the study to improve their academic performance, the researcher conceptualized and introduced an intervention. So the intervention was implemented twice a week, wherein the students were taught attitudes, values, techniques, tips, and proper scheduling to manage their time properly and wisely in studying their lesson in physical science, which are incorporated in the prepared module entitled Classroom Program on Study Skills for Grade 12 Learner. The classroom program was conducted twice a week. Okay? Indicate po natin kung ano yung timeline. And student participants were given individual copies of the module consisting of 10 lessons. Student participants were required to participate during the discussion and in answering activities in each lesson. Okay, we all know that we have three stages in developing an action plan. Okay, the first is the pre-implementation stage. The second is the implementation, and the third is the post-implementation stage. Okay, natatandaan po ba natin? Po kaya dito ang mga nakagawa na ng action research, naaalala itong ating stages ng action plan. Paki-type nga po ng 1. Makita ko man lang kung tayo ay meron na nakagawa ng action research dito kahit iilan. Puwede po bang makita ang mga gumawa ng mga action research? Paki-type lang po ng 1 sa ating chat box. At kung ito ay naaalala pa, ay paki-type din po ang number 1. Okay, so to continue my discussion, we have here formulating objectives in the action plan. And formulate objectives about, we have determining the problems or status or investigate a phenomenon. This is under pre-implementation. And on the creating a new procedure, this is under the implementation. And another under implementation pa rin is testing the idea or try out solution to a problem. Okay, so ito po yung guide natin. And of course, ang evaluation po natin ng ating intervention or innovation ay dito na po tayo sa post-implementation. Okay, so malinaw na malinaw po yan, ano? Okay, example in developing an action plan for the pre-implementation stage. It deals with the current situation, status, performance of the respondents participants. Ayan. Basahin po natin mabuti, tingnan po natin mabuti. Under the pre-implementation, current situation, status, and performance of the respondents or participant. And in this stage, make a plan to achieve the first objective in the research. So, kung ginawa natin ay 5, edi meron din tayong at least 5 action plan to achieve the objectives na naisulat natin. Okay. Example pa rin po, pre-implementation. Okay. Magawa po tayo ng table. The first column, we have objective, we have the activities, person involved, time frame, resources. We have expected output and the statistical tool to be used. Okay. So on my example, ang objective ko po ay identify the number of non-readers in grade 3 in English. So ano yung pwede nating activities here? Administer the Phil Erie pretest among Phil of Balintawak Elementary School. And then itali po natin and interpret natin ang result. Yan po ang ating activity. So sino po ang gagawa nito? English teacher na grade 3. Wag grade 2, wag grade 1. Kasi grade 3 ang ating subject. So, grade 3 pupils of Balintawak Elementary School and magkaroon po tayo dito ng time frame. So, ang nilagay ko po dito ay from June to July. And then, ang ating resources needed ay ang PhilE reforms and materials for grade 3, syempre. And ang ating pong expected output ay non-readers in grade 3 English will be identified. Kailangan ma-identified natin. Yun ang dapat natin maging output. And the statistical tool to be used is personage. So, kukuhanin lang po natin yung personage kung ilan yung hindi nakakabasa. Okay. Now, in developing an action research work plan, implementation stage na po tayo. It deals with activities that will solve the current situation. Again, that will solve the current situation, status, performance of the respondents. And in this stage, make a plan to achieve the second and the third objective of the research. Yan. So, basahin po natin mabuti o screenshot po natin ang aking presentation para malaman po natin kung ano ba yung ginagawa sa ating implementation stage. Okay, example po. Um, Meron ulit akong mga columns dito. First column is objective, number 2 activity, number 3 is person involved. We have the time frame, the resources needed, expected output, and katulad po ng sinabi ko kanina, ang ating statistical tool ay personage ang ating hahanapin. So meron po tayong mga automatic calculations sa Google na pwede nating magamit. So for the objective, develop word walls. Utilize word wall to reduce non-readers in grade 3 English. And ang activity po natin, develop validated and finalize the intervention material. Have a pilot test of the intervention materials. Utilize the intervention materials to the grade 3 pupil respondents. And sino ulit ang mga person involved dito? Of course, we have the grade 3 English teachers, master teacher, and reading expert, ed. And we have the grade 3 pupils as well of the depth ed. And for the time frame, this is from August to October. So we have the resources needed. We have the word wall intervention material. And ang expected output po natin, of course, we have to utilize the word wall intervention material which will be completed. Magpo-post lang po tayo ng mga words sa dingding, tapos babasahin ng mga estudyante para matatandaan nila. And of course, on the final, we have the action research work plan. Post-implementation stage naman po tayo. So, let me read. It deals with the significance of the results. Again, results that improve the current situation, status, performance of the respondents or participants. And in this stage, make a plan to achieve the last objective in the research. So, last objective na po yung sasagutan natin dito sa ating post-implementation stage. Okay, ito po yung example natin. Determine if there's a significant difference before and after utilizing word wall in grade 3 English. And ang activities po natin, i-administer natin ang post-test sa ating grade 3 pupils and then i-compute natin yung results. So again, ang ating person involved, of course, yung ating grade 3 English teacher and the pupils, of course, and ang ating time frame ay November 2019 or November 2021. Okay. And then, of course, ang ating resources needed, we have the PhilE reforms and material for grade 3. And ang ating pong expected output, yung non-readers in grade 3 will be reduced, no? And ang pwede po natin gamitin ditong statistical tool ay ang t-test. Okay? So, kung ang t-test, ang gagamitin natin, of course, this should be below 30 respondents kasi pag yan po ay nag-more than 30 respondents na, z-test na po ang ating gagamitin. Okay. I have here a sample action plan. Okay, ang ating objective, game-based learning has the following objectives. Introduce the adopted game like the math checker, crypto to learner, provide learner conducive and friendly competition as well as learning math concept. Skills, increase pupils' performance level on Mathematics 6, develop learners' love and appreciation for board games, and deliver positive learning activities to learn calculation with their peers and friends. Okay. So, ang ating pong time frame ng ating game-based learning activity were integrated in every related mathematics 6 lessons from second to fourth quarter during the school year 2020-2021. And for our respondents, they were all at risk grade 6 learners in mathematics 6 more in San Roque Elementary School, and they were given an ample time to have direct experiences on game board assisting with the performing pupils during their class. Yan. Okay, and for their activities naman, to successfully implement the game-based learning, the researcher prepared the necessary material, rules, and procedures, including guidelines in playing the game, as to incorporate them into their related math content or topics. So pre-evaluation and post-evaluation had been administered in order to test the effectiveness of incorporating game in their learning. So the t-test for correlated sample was used in comparing the means before and after the treatment. So this was also to test the significant difference between the pre-test and the post-test. Okay. For the action research methods, we have respondents, participants, and sources of data. State who? Sino po ba ang magpa-participate sa research? Okay. Specific number. O, fill in the blanks na lang po ito para madali ang ating labanan. And then their characteristics. And we have to include also the sampling procedure. Ba, ang dali na po ng action research, no? Pag ito yung gagamitin natin kasi fill in the blanks na lang. And for the data gathering methods, indicate the instrument use and procedures for data collection. O, di ba? Saan pa kayo? Fill in the blanks na lang po ang mangyayari dito sa aking slide. Okay. In writing action research method, ito po yung sample random sampling. So, andyan po yung ating formula. And we use large set of population. And it requires the recommended computed sample size. We require specific procedure applied in the random selection of sample population. So kung gusto niyo po ng sample size formula ay meron po tayong mano-mano. Pero ito po si Rausoft, makikita niyo dyan, pag nag-input po kayo, yan po ay automatic na. So, split second po, lalabas ang ating sample size diyan. Okay? Mamaya po, bibigyan ko kayo ng demo kay Rauso para mas ma-appreciate ninyo. And in writing action research method, we have methods of sampling from a population. We have sample random sampling, systemic sampling, stratified. We have clustered convenience. We have the quota and judgment or purposive. And we have the snowball. So I believe this would be discussed by the other speaker as well. And for the data analysis plan, i-present lang po natin yung methods used in analyzing the data. So again, in the calculation dun sa previous respondents natin, so ito po yung interpretation based on the first periodical result. It has been recorded that among other grade level in the school, the grade 4 class has the lowest mean percentage score of 19.46 with a standard deviation of 5.82 in science. With this condition, all 39 grade 4 pupils of Ilayang Dupay Elementary School in Lucena were purposely selected